Hi, I'm here to tell you about my pattern called the Snow Lantern. It's a shawl pattern and it's great for when the weather is cold, both for knitting during that time and also wearing or just dreaming about snow. So the pattern is called a Snow Lantern and it is a shawl and a large one at that. Don't think I'm gonna get it all on camera. It's a really snuggly shawl. Love it. I love it. Even if I say so myself, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. My vision for it and then the execution. So this is texture upon texture. It has large blocks and smaller blocks of double seed stitch. It has rows of bobbles. Now I know a lot of knitters don't either like bobbles or are slightly intimidated by them. Don't be. Just approach them with the idea that they have their own rhythm to them. Yes, knitting a bubble row does take up a lot more time than knitting any other row on this shawl, but the end result I think is worth it. I'm also going to upload a video on how to make bubbles on my channel here on YouTube. So if you've never knit bubbles or just aren't sure of how to do them, you can check that out. Of course, the pattern does also walk you through the making of the bubbles, but sometimes you need to see things to for it to click, and just to see that it's not really difficult. It's just slow. So it has rows of bubbles, and then towards the end you also get these cabley lace patterns. So the idea that the inspiration was snow lanterns and snow. So I wanted to create these sort of bubbly round shapes, hence the bubbles, and also the cable with the large holes in them. So yes, for these you also need a cable needle to do them, since they are 3-stitch cables. I find it easier to work them with a cable needle. Cable needle, a spare DPN, it doesn't really matter. Actually, the full confession here, I also did one row with using a pen because I was in a car, had some time to knit. I didn't have a cable needle in my project bag, so I just used a pen I found in my bag, handbag. So whatever works for you, whatever you have on hand. So I used, this is a worsted weight yarn that I used, and I used a 6.5 millimeter needle. That's a US 10.5. And a circular needle is nice. This is knit from this tip to this edge, and while it does get long, it's not super duper long, but a circular needle is nice. If you like straight needles, it's doable on them, but it will get quite scrunched up and the needle will feel heavy. The wingspan of this is 190 centimeters, 75 inches, and the depth from the deepest point is 86 centimeters, 34 inches. And let me talk about the yarn because it's fabulous. So for this shawl, I wanted to use one of my all-time favorite yarns, which is the Ravelry Naturist Juliet. And this is colorway Sel, S-E-L. And Juliet is the worsted weight yarn with generous yardage. So this giant ball is 100 grams and it has 250 meters, which is about 270 something yards. For this shawl I used 3 balls. So if you're looking to substitute with another worsted weight wool, be prepared with 750 meters, 819 yards of worsted weight yarn. Yes. So Gilead is one of my favorite yarns. I've knit sweaters with it previously and been really pleased with how the yarn has held up through wear, and also I've really enjoyed knitting with it. So when I started thinking about this shawl, which was about a year ago, once I'd had the full idea in my head of how I wanted it to look, I started thinking about the yarn, and I immediately thought that this one would be great for a really nice warm shawl. And this one comes in really gorgeous colors too. But of course, whatever worsted weight wool you like, you can use it for this one. My test knitters are using different wools. I think one of them is using a silky bit blend as well, so that'll be a really luxurious shawl. So yes, I think that's everything I wanted to mention about this shawl. The pattern is now available on Ravelry. I hope you like it and hope you cast on. And if you do, remember to share your photos. I love to see my designs being knit up and interpreted by other knitters. So do tag me on Instagram. Pop on over to the Lina Knits Ravelry group and post your photos there. Whatever social media you use. Yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon again. Happy knitting. Bye.